We look for things to make us go.
They say resist is futile. That individual is out of style. It's a simulation of a but I know less about
Hello and good evening. Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 2, Episode 17, Samaritan Snare. It's over, and it has been since May of 1989, but we're just getting started here in May of 2025 as we continue our mission to watch every episode of Star Trek The Next Generation and talk all about it. And in this episode, Captain Picard heads to a nearby star base to undergo surgery for his artificial heart. While Commander Riker is in command of the Enterprise, the crew must deal with a Pac-led ship whose crew kidnaps Chief Engineer Jody LaForge and demands advanced technology in exchange for his safe return. We got a great panel here to talk all about it here on Live Long and Podcast. I'm Dave Mader. Coming in is our intelligence officer himself. He is smart. It's Justin Velociraptor.
I make things go.
Yeah.
He is smart.
Yes. And coming in next, it's the man who, I don't know if he could identify with a young Starfleet officer, green as hell.
I was a young Starfleet officer, top of my academy class, green as hell. Oh, so cocky. Too cocky, as it turned out.
It's Adam Woodward.
Dave, can I get you a sandwich?
Yes, you can. I could use a, huh?
How about a sandwich?
Yeah, I'm good with it.
In my headcanon, this episode is actually titled "Shut Up, Wesley, and Eat a Sandwich."
Would you like some coffee, Wesley?
Shut up and have a snack, Wesley.
Have a
I think it's the only time that
sandwich.
Captain Picard actually drank coffee. I think the only time we've ever seen him drink coffee.
He'll drink.
True.
It's more of a breakfast thing because I remember that he, Beverly says to him, "All you want for breakfast is coffee and croissant."
Oh, okay.
I do remember that.
He does,
And
like
when he
coffee
has
sometimes.
breakfast with Beverly, I think they make coffee then as well. Come
Yeah.
to think of it,
I think
but
tea's
you
like
only
his-
ever see him order tea.
Oh,
I
right.
think from the from the replicator.
Oh, and coming in on his own timetable, it's Jody Simpson.
Hello, Dave.
You know,
I'm currently having visual issues, so I'm audio only right now.
it's too bad. I
Sure,
thought
you
you can make the computer things go and whatever.
I am not smart. Not today.
We need their computer things.
I need my webcam to work, but apparently it's not working for some strange reason.
Yeah.
Must be
You're just saying
9:10.
all the time. You give Adam a hard time about being late, and who was keeping us waiting tonight?
Well, I was here ready to go at 8:00, but unfortunately my computer then decided to do an update, and now my webcam doesn't work. So, yay, fun.
What? And so Linux, you can't override your update. You can't say no. I don't want this update.
Well, I kind of triggered the update. It wasn't something that it did on its own. It's my fault. But,
Thank you for admitting that, Jody. It's a big man of you for doing that. I gotta say.
well, I take credit when I do something wrong.
Oh, you
It's
take
so-
credit, all right. You take credit, all right.
I definitely take credit.
Well, welcome. We have our panel here for the evening. This is the 43rd episode overall of Next Generation, written by Robert McCullough and directed by Les Landau. And this is, last week we had the introduction of the Borg, and now we get another antagonist, the Pac-Leds, who maybe not as intimidating as the Borg. We'll have to get into it. But
They just look for things, Dave. It's fine.
Yeah.
We look for things to make us go.
Right. It seems it's a simple enough mission, to
Seems
boldly
so.
go where no one has found things before.
Exactly.
And, or maybe they have. Spoilers ahead. This episode is also very centric on Picard and Wesley, and we learn about Picard's backstory more and who he used to be, the cocky young Starfleet officer.
I was an undisciplined, loud-mouthed, opinionated young man who was way out of his league.
Way out of his league.
You know what's great about this? That we'll get to the story of that shortly, but is that they revisit it later. They don't just touch on it. And I this is when Next Generation annoys me, but then they do stuff like this and then bring it out, like they just touch on it. Not a huge storyline in this, but we get almost a whole episode later on.
Right. Tapestry being the episode you're referring to, which I think is in the 5th or 6th season of Next Generation. Another Q episode coming off of the previous episode, Q Who. And in that episode, yeah, like Picard gets to it's kind of like a, I don't know what the right analogy would be.
Alternate reality for him, honestly.
Yeah, like I guess like It's a Wonderful Life, I guess is kind of the analogy I was looking for, because he goes back and changes something. Or in It's a Wonderful Life, he was never born, and in that show, or in Tapestry, he what if he didn't learn that lesson that he needed to learn, right? What if he went a different way on his path in life? And and I think it's interesting that Picard does have this reputation as being this guy who was, defiant, rebellious, had too many girlfriends. He was breaking all their hearts, and everyone talks about Kirk being the impulsive one, Kirk being the one who is like the rebel, but really, I think it's Picard. Truly, and I think that, because they describe the younger Kirk, at least in the original series, not the Chris Pine version, which I think has kind of changed a lot of the way we look at the character. But, he was called a stack of book with legs and things like that. He was more, pretty by the book, when he was at the Academy. And, while it seems like Picard was at the top of his class, he had to learn a couple hard lessons, heart lessons, perhaps, if you will.
Yeah, you can all see me now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
And it's majestic.
The Wizard of Oz.
I was actually waiting for some gas, but it didn't happen.
I don't know if you know this, Jody, but we now have this new function on StreamYard where we can touch up our appearance. Watch here.
Should I do that?
Do I look even prettier now?
What happened to all your wrinkles, Dave? It's amazing.
I know, they're all gone. See if I can turn them. If I turn this
touch
off,
up.
I can just hear my processor going crazy when I do this. And then if I turn it off,
touch up my appearance. Here it is.
Yeah, I get all.
I look the exact same. That's because I'm beautiful. See, there you go.
Yeah. Well,
Here, let's make this really not subtle.
I'm only going to do it halfway. See what happens.
Yeah.
You know what? It's the same no matter what for me. So what do I do?
Thank you.
You look better. You all look better than the Packlids do. I can say that.
They're sexy boys.
Aren't they ever?
They make it go.
The unit. Oh, they make a lot of
riffraff.
They are galactic riffraff.
Yeah.
It is broken. Uh-huh.
All right. Let's jump into the story proper through our screenshot visuals. And let us know what you think of this episode, everybody.
Hey, Sam's here. Hey, Sam.
Oh, hey, Sam.
Hey, Sam.
So Picard, it starts off with Captain Picard. No, it starts off with Wesley Crusher coming to the bridge. He's getting ready for his entrance exams to the Academy. And Riker gives him a chip here on the bridge with all the answers. And there's kind of this dialogue here between Data and Riker and Wesley, about how, Wesley will do great on the exams. And he's got all that practical experience. And
the amount of Wesley's circle jerk going on in this scene is just enough.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
And Data, Data kind of repeats what Riker says, and Riker's like, "Didn't I just say that?"
Not quite as perspicuously.
And that's not the only time Riker makes an echo joke in this episode. I'm not sure what, echo must have been the word of the day or something.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Wow.
Then down in sickbay, to start off the episode, Pulaski is talking to Captain Picard about how he has to get this surgery. We don't totally understand what they're talking about right away, but basically Picard is refusing to have the operation here on the Starship Enterprise.
He's refusing to have it done.
Well, he's being ordered to have it done by Pulaski. And,
Oh, please. I feel fine.
he's fine.
Why was he so worried about Pulaski?
Because it would hurt his image and his ego.
What image?
I don't know. Like that he's the invincible captain,
Yeah,
I guess.
I don't get
yeah.
this whole. Yeah, that's fine. I guess he's got to
I-
look like he's all strong, but still.
Wasn't
I
there
don't know.
supposed to be more backstory between her and Picard too? I thought, where like they. had
Well,
a
he does
problem.
make question that he knew her, he's known her for a while or something in one of the episodes previous.
But they only
Yeah.
met in the beginning of the season. That was established in the first episode of the season that they had never met before.
So weird.
Right?
Yeah, the whole Pulaski thing is just unsettling.
Yeah.
It would be. I wonder if it was written when Beverly was still going to be the Doctor, because I could see with
Oh,
the
and they didn't
tension-
take it out of the edit.
with
Oh,
the
maybe.
tension between the two of them. Maybe that would be inappropriate because they were,
Maybe, but this is pretty late in season 2 for that. Unless the script was just hanging around for a while.
Well, it could also just be that nobody clued in because they're, doing the rewrites for whatchamacallit. When they go through the rewrite, they don't really think of that scene, right?
It will be inappropriate.
Yeah. Anyway, so he's gonna go by shuttle to Starbase 515, I guess, with Wesley. So he runs into Wesley here on the bridge, and he says, "Wesley, I'll be coming with you to the Starbase." And Wesley looks very nervous and scared about this this prospect.
Wesley's like, now how am I gonna pull the pud while I'm waiting?
Come on, just me and you,
There's gotta be
kiddo.
somebody in the shuttle.
Road trip. Here we go.
Can't watch that intergalactic riffraff porn
Yeah,
that they have in the
intergalactic-
banks.
Intergalactic riffraff, one of my more preferred. Yeah, here.
intercept some
Galactic
subspace
riffraff.
Orion transmissions.
Somewhat devious joint lock.
Yeah. Anyway, Riker goes, "What's up, Captain?" And he goes, "I got a personal matter." So Riker looks around the bridge. He says, "This is weird." He's like, "I thought you wanted to go see the Epsilon Quasar or whatever," and which is, he's like, I was very much looking forward to it, but I have to go. It's a strictly personal matter, Riker, and he won't tell Riker the details of it, why he's going there.
Well, and Riker's all pissed off too. He's like, I know everything you know.
Yeah.
You need to tell me. And he's like, it's
No, he
obvious.
says he's got security clearance, and that's when he says it's a personal matter.
Yeah. which is
Picard's
still
like, it's
stupid,
not
though.
about your clearance. It's just, I don't want to talk about it.
How about it's you keep your damn mouth shut. You are under me, and you need to shut up. That's what he should have said.
Well, he goes for the nicer way of saying that.
Yeah.
So Riker
That's
says,
why I'm not in the military, I guess.
I guess so. I don't know. Yeah, it might be.
I don't think it'd be good.
You'd be asking for permission to speak freely a lot, I think.
I would.
So here, Wesley is talking to Sonia Gomez, who was introduced in the previous episode.
Who is way more competent in this episode than she was in the last.
Her
one.
hair is very different too, but that's beside the point.
It's almost like they're trying to hide the top of her ears. Like maybe we'll find out later she's a Romulan or something.
I think they gave her a different uniform here. I don't know, but she's talking to Wesley's talking to Sonia and to Jody about. Well, I'm going to do the exams, but I'm very nervous about Picard and spending all this time with him. And they're like, what am I going to ask him? They're like, oh, ask him about art and history and all these great things he knows about.
I'm more concerned as to why Sonia Gomez knows so much about Picard, like in his personal affections. It's like what?
I also find it kind of strange that she's saying, why would you be nervous around Captain Picard? But in the very previous episode, she was nervous around Picard.
Spilt bloody
Hot
hot chocolate, which started the entire Borg invasion.
It's true.
Everything comes down to the hot chocolate.
comes down to Sonia Gomez. Anyway, so then
And we
Captain
never
Picard.
see her again.
This is her last appearance before Lower Decks. Yeah.
Yeah, she's in Lower Decks.
So then Captain Picard comes out of the turbolift, and they say, "Hey, Captain, whatever, have fun on your starbase." And he's not impressed. He's got a couple books to bring with him, and
he doesn't even say anything. He just looks at he looks at LeVar Burton like he's like got 8 legs, and he's like, "Yeah, no." And
Yeah.
he doesn't even literally say anything. He just keeps walking.
He's not happy about going for this surgery at all. So he just looks at them and says nothing, and then Wesley's like, "Do you see what I'm dealing with here?"
Yeah, see, I'm a kid. He hates me.
This sucks.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, he's in for a rough one."
I'm
Anyway.
gonna call my mom at Starfleet Medical. I'm gonna make her come back on this ship so I get some respect.
Right.
So, but it's so funny here because they're going on a 6-hour shuttlecraft ride, which would probably take them like minutes at warp whatever
Yeah.
to get to, it makes no sense that they're sending these two away on this ship.
Not only that, but we find out that he's got a failing heart device. Why are you making him do a 6-hour shuttle ride?
Well, he's not going to imminently die, I don't think, but he has to get it replaced at some point.
Well, I love the. Why would they put a defaulty heart in you? Like it's like Picard looks at him.
Picard's like, well, obviously we didn't know it was faulty,
And that is the reason why Picard does not like children.
Anyway, so
That question right there.
Here we go. Wesley and Captain Picard going on their road trip or space trip, I suppose. And Wesley's flying the shuttle. So I guess Wesley's must be fully have his I guess he flies the larger ship.
He's got his G1. That's why
he's at least got his full pilot's license, and he's using that trackball, Jody, that we noticed.
You gotta have the trackball, man.
You gotta have the Golden Tee trackball.
The later shuttles don't have the trackball. You can't play any Golden Tee golf. What are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do? Anyway, so the shuttle is away. And then the shuttle goes, and then this is when Riker says to Data, wasn't he? He told me he was looking forward to seeing the Epsilon pulsar or whatever it was. He's like, so he said, this is so weird. But just then, Worf says, we got a distress call. What's the source? Unknown ship. Not very ominous. But then Data says, that will take us in the opposite direction as the captain. I know, Data. I know. And that's our teaser for the episode.
It's almost like the first half of this episode's dialogue was just made up on the spot. Literally, they're like, well, what would he say? And they're like, oh, we'll try this. And that's it.
Well, listen, the writers are brutal. They created a new alien race for us here. And they're, it's like, let's create the dumbest race that we can. And
I think the Packlets were a fantastic idea. Because it was all of the Federation's ignorance that led Jody to get kidnapped. That's exactly what happened.
What did they tell us, Jody?
You think we are not smart? We are smart.
We are smart.
We are smart.
And they clearly are smart.
Yeah,
They've
they
been
captured
technology from everybody.
No, okay. I'm going from the viewer component, standpoint. Where as a viewer for watching this for the first time, you're like, what the heck are these guys? How did they get into space?
They're funny. They're fun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So the Enterprise then goes to answer the distress call. We get to see the Mondor, which is the Pack-led ship here.
Our ship is the Mondor.
We are the Pack-leds. We, it's we get them on the screen here.
Uh-huh.
Do you need some help?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We are Packlets. It is broken.
Our ship is broken. Do you need help? Yes. What is your mission?
We look for things.
What do you mean?
Things we need. Things that make us go.
Things that make us go. What could be more simple,
What more do you need in life?
Nothing.
But the absolute ignorance and you can say this with a lot of things that happen in real life. Like, for instance, people look at, some people look at people with Down syndrome with a problem like this. And it's like, no, there's nothing wrong with people with Down syndrome other than the syndrome itself. So I think it's interesting that a sci-fi show from, this would have been what, 89? 80, yeah, 89. So 89 is sitting here going, you know what? Stop being a bunch of pricks, because literally you have no idea what's going on.
I guess it's like, don't judge a book by its cover, I guess.
I think it really is telling on Riker, because Riker,
he's such a smug ass.
The Federation, their high values and their sensibilities and all this stuff. But really, he's just falling into the trap, the Samaritan Snare.
Yeah, and I just want to also give a lot of credit to the lead actor who plays the Pack-led captain, Christopher Collins, who previously played the Klingon captain in A Matter of Honor earlier this season.
Yeah,
and a very different character, and his performance in this is very good.
The voice is what gave it away.
But it's the same voice, but it's a very different way of going about it. Anyway, so Jordy's going on his way over, and we think these Packlets are innocent, but maybe they're not. And Worf, Jody, you're always saying Worf doesn't have the right idea. Worf has got,
okay.
Worf has
Jody,
a point here.
I was thinking of you during this scene, he was on point here. He's acting like a
Absolutely.
security officer, and he was not listened to.
Do we have to give them our
Yep.
chief engineer? How about Sonia Gomez? Can't we send Sonia Gomez on
Yeah,
this
why don't we
mission?
send Sonia Gomez?
Right?
That way, if she ends up getting killed, we are okay. No,
You do not know anything about them.
Right.
no, this
Worf's-
is one of the few exceptions, and I will absolutely agree with you, Dave. Worf was the guy that everybody should have listened to, and nobody did, and it was
And-
absolutely ridiculous.
And it seems like protocol would be to send at least a pair of people.
Right.
Yeah, you don't send one guy who happens to be the chief of one of the divisions of your ship.
Yeah.
You don't send that guy.
He's
as
got
the
nothing to
one
do.
guy.
Then go fix
Well,
another ship.
Riker decides to send him, so here we go.
So Riker is the most insubordinate person on this
and
ship.
Riker tells off Worf. He's like, "We have a duty to offer aid here, humanitarian aid."
Absolutely, but you don't have to be a jackass, and you don't have to send only one person.
So, right. Well,
And send an engineering team if you really want to help them. Send a whole bunch of them.
yeah. Well, Worf gets shut down here, and he's like, "Well, hopefully."
He's like, "This is why everybody thinks I suck," and that's
But-
true.
But it turns out it's Riker who sucks here.
Riker really sucks in this episode.
Riker really does. Like this, he's
He's-
making
he's-
decisions, bad
He's
decisions all
so
around.
terrible in this episode.
Riker goes to Data. He goes, "Aren't they a little slow?" He goes,
They may merely have poorly developed language skills.
Yeah.
See, Data, same thing. Data understood where we are here. Just because they act like they are not intelligent doesn't mean they aren't.
Right. So then,
Or your perception, I guess, is more.
right. So,
By the way, this is totally not the same shuttle that they took.
is it not? No, it's
No,
different.
there's no fucking way.
The model is 100% different.
It's
not a
completely
box.
wrong.
I didn't
It's
notice
not
that.
it's not a fridge with nacelles. This has got some curvy ass on it and everything. So
Okay, well, I hadn't picked up on that. Anyway, we're back with Wesley and Picard. Picard is reading his book. What's happening here in this scene? Is this where
I tricked you, Jameways.
I
but
tricked
Oh, who are you
Jamees?
meeting tomorrow, Sam?
Yeah, who is Sam meeting tomorrow? I'm
Yeah.
dying to know.
Sam said, "Guess who I'm meeting tomorrow?"
I'm gonna guess.
No
Uh-huh.
context at all, so you can go wild on this one.
Ooh, I'm gonna say you're gonna meet Barack Obama tomorrow for high tea, Sam. I hope you had a wonderful high tea ceremony.
Oh,
Nice.
Oh, he actually responded. He
Wow.
is meeting the Trailer Park Boys, Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles.
You're meeting
Say
all those
hello
guys.
to me.
I've
Say
met
hello
I've
to
met
the
two
boys
of the
from me.
three of them.
Here's a fun fact for you, Sam. So my godfather,
Facts with Dave.
Yes. My godfather was the deacon at the church where Ricky, like the guy who plays Ricky, his real life son, was baptized. And Julian, the guy who plays Julian, being the godfather. So my godfather taught Ricky how to be a godfather to Julian's kid. So just keep that in mind.
I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing.
I don't know. Anyway, so back to the episode. We need to spin off the Packlet show. That'd be fun. I would totally be down for a Packlet
Actually,
show.
Mike, can you go back to that shuttle shot for a second?
Mike.
This is a wireless mouse shuttle. He's right. It does look like the ass end of a mouse.
Yeah. So this is where Wesley's like, this must not be like the fast missions for you or like going at warp speed. He's like, no, more like a late.
More like a late 22nd century interplanetary journey.
Yeah, which Wesley doesn't know what that is. He goes,
Should read more history.
read more history, Wesley. Yes, sir.
And even Picard's a total dick for like the first half of their shuttle drive here. And then all of a sudden, like, he gets sandwiches. And so really what it is when Picard is ever angry or something like that, it's just he's hangry.
He's hanging.
Because once he got the sandwiches in him, he's fine. He
Yeah.
was nice. He was polite.
He won't even make eye contact with Wesley very much in this
No, he's
first.
like,
but
Somebody needs to replicate that man as Snickers.
exactly. Anyway, so this first conversation doesn't go very well for Wesley. Then we go back to the Mondor and the Enterprise, where Jody's beaming over to the Packlet ship. And as he materializes over here, he gets kind of like swarmed by these Pakleds, who are all like heavy set guys, basically. We meet no Pakled women in this episode. It seems to be an all.
I wonder why.
They don't make them go.
This guy back here was hilarious
They
because
made us go.
he starts like rubbing LeVar Burton's like shoulder and then like going, "Oh, sorry," and like it's just hilarious.
It's been a long time since I've seen a woman.
For
And Jody's like, I'm not.
this Pakled with no lines really did amuse me here.
The look on his face afterwards too, when he's like scurrying away.
Oh yeah, he's like so mischievous. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, he's like,
yeah. And then we meet again the Pakled captain now in the flesh. He's called Greb Nedlog in the script and stuff, but he's never actually said. They never say his name in the episode. But
no.
Anyway, he's like, "Hello, it is broken." You know, and he's like, "Well, who's the chief engineer?" My friend. His name is, what was his friend's name?
Reginald.
Reginald. Here is Reginald. He runs engineering. You know.
We look for things to make us go.
Right. Pakled. So they said, "Okay, well, show me over here." And Reginald.
He is smart.
Reginald's hilarious. They look for makeup artists, forget what direction to go. The eyebrows in the middle of the forehead are maybe the most interesting choice for the Pakleds.
And they're like this.
Yeah, and they're like sideways, I guess, too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But I kind of like the
They
uniform.
made their eyebrows go.
Yeah, I kind of like the uniform for some reason. We'll later see.
They don't have a uniform. They all have different things on.
It's a uniform. It's just not.
Uniform-ish, anyway.
It's uniform-ish, I guess. You know, it's all the same
the
color.
Same color. Like,
Same
that's
color
about it.
and like bindings and things like that. It's not all the same configuration, but
It was all brightly colored before, but that's just the rust and grime from the ship.
because later when we later catch up with Lore next season, I think in the episode Brothers. We see that Laura was wearing one of these outfits because he was apparently rescued from the vacuum of space by Pakleds. So anyway,
Damn Pakleds. They might be the biggest enemy of the Federation, come to think of it.
Perhaps. We tricked you, Janeway. So then back to the Enterprise and Deanna. It's coordinated colors. They haven't discovered anything about brown.
Or just brown.
It's colors. Yeah, it's not as uniform as the Star.
We don't make pigment.
But guys, everyone, Counselor Troy, her powers are tingling.
Our Betazoid counselor is often aware of things beyond our perceptive abilities.
Wow,
She goes,
thanks, Data. We're
So
literally
where was she when this all happened?
She was in the bathroom.
drinking,
Counseling somebody.
Eating ice cream?
counseling a bar, and maybe some chocolate sundae.
Taking a bath. I don't know. She was busy, so she wasn't
She was
there.
busy not doing her job, is what we.
Well, she's here now, and she's saying, "Who are these aliens?" And she's saying, "They are not helpless. They are a threat. They're not who they say they are. We need to get Jody out of there. He's in danger."
Okay.
I like
How
how Data
does it-
stands up for Deanna to Riker. When Riker's standing there, like, dude, we used to bang. Like, I know, I'm fully aware of her psychic abilities.
Yeah, like, why do you need to tell me this? And on top of that, we're literally at the end of season 2 now. If you don't know what the hell Troy does,
Oh no,
I
it's
wouldn't be
just fun-
shocked, but still.
I didn't pull that quote because she's explaining it to Riker as much as it's just a description of like our Betazoid counselor's powers, which sometimes she knows exactly what they're thinking, and other times
And
she doesn't.
sometimes they only delay, and then she only actually feels it later on.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah, right. So there's, she tells Riker and the crew Geordi's in danger. So I think this is where we get a bit of a cliffhanger, go to commercial, come back. And then we go back to the shuttle.
That is totally not the right shuttle. There's no way.
That's not the shuttle that left. I think that they used they used the takeoff sequence from another episode, I think.
Yeah, probably.
So,
I guess they just thought nobody would notice.
So this is again Picard and Wesley, and I think this is where Picard finally opens up about his heart, that he's going for a heart surgery here.
What? You?
Yes. You? He's like, an artificial heart? He goes, what else would it be? you know, like, or what? That's
No,
tight.
it's a pig heart. What? Like what? Why are
His mother is a doctor too, you know. But
clearly he doesn't understand anything to do with medicine.
Why would they put a defaulty heart or faulty heart?
Why would
in
they
there?
give you a
Defaulty
defaulty
heart.
heart? And Picard's like, this kid's so dumb. Oh, I thought he was a prodigy.
That's an idiot.
So much for his entrance exams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you should take this again next year. Anyway,
I should have bet against him. I knew I should have bet against him.
yet
Well,
another.
Wesley, they always need freighter captains.
I heard the Packlids are looking for somebody who's smart.
No,
Anyway.
they are smart.
So Jordy's over here, then helping out the Packlids fix up their circuit boards. You know, it's broken. Come on.
It is broken.
No, don't worry. Jordy's gonna get it all fixed up, and this is where Commander Riker asks, "Is everything okay over there, Jordy?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm having a great time here with my."
Except for this
Packlid."
one guy, when Packlid keeps touching my ass, but past that, I'm okay.
Yeah. They're like, okay, well, just finish up and then come home. We need you. Okay, sounds good. I'm almost done here. But there's just then, when Jordy's already and seemingly done, then the power goes out. And there's yet another problem to fix. It's broken again. Here, I got to play it again.
It is broken. Can you make it go?
Well, I guess I'll try, Jordy says. So here I go. And you see this look here between Riker and Troy. Oh, this ain't good. This is not looking promising.
Yeah, and at this point, you know, you would think, as the person who Riker should be, you would think he'd be like, okay, well, we should at least send some people over there, you know, to help.
I guess, like, not
but
they
he
don't
doesn't.
know. Well, they kind of know, like, based on Deanna's abilities, they know that they're deceptive, or they're they could have beamed Geordi over right this second, right before they throw their shields up, but they said, okay, fine, Geordi, keep trying to fix things.
Mike says Packlids are a visual representation of the difference between book smart versus street smart. I kind of agree with that. Yeah.
So then back to the shuttle where Picard's still done up with his book. This is where Wesley confronts Picard about, oh, you don't like kids, right? Or whatever. And he goes, or you don't like me. You're not comfortable around me because I'm a kid. And he goes, is it? Is that what everyone thinks? You know?
No, he says here, he goes, you would be much happier with Commander Riker or whoever.
Yeah. I'm sorry you have to spend this time with me in the shuttle. I'm sorry this sucks for you so much. And
I think Wesley was looking for a hug or something. Like he's getting really desperate here.
And more, Picard's in his own head about being grumpy about this surgery. It really doesn't have much to do with Wesley, in his mind. But Wesley, Picard.
He's still hangry.
He's still hangry. So Picard shuts his book, and then he goes to the back of the shuttle here. You don't like me because of my dad, Wesley. Yeah, exactly.
It might be a good point, because
that is,
he may have some guilt around this. Like, he brought back Jack Crusher dead, and
he got Jack Crusher killed, and he coveted his wife. And Jack Crusher was his best friend. So,
and then later they have another kid, and
right now he's kind of being asked to be a pseudo father to that son, Wesley.
This is how they got into the whole conversation, because Wesley asks him, you would have been a great father, and then he gets in, you need discipline. You can't, there's no time for families as a Starfleet officer.
Right. Didn't you ever wish you had kids? And he says,
Wishing for a thing does not make it so.
The only thing that makes it so is when I say make it so.
Which is a thing that they did in Generations, which worked out really well to be a good callback to this episode. Because he does that when he's in the Nexus, he does actually wish for having kids, and essentially, obviously, he does. All of a sudden, he's in the Christmas scene, and he's got all that, and that's how he realizes that he's actually in the Nexus.
Jody, your backdrop's rather disturbing right now.
That's the acid trip. I've decided I'm going to try to at least get through one episode of this with that playing in the background. And tonight's the night. He's this guy's really having a good time too.
You gotta put this as a short, Dave.
I know, we will. Okay,
he is watching the other guy.
Anyway, so let's back to the episode. So Picard just kind of goes back to reading his book in the back of the shuttle, so he doesn't have to sit next to Wesley.
You wish for
That
kids
would
with
be
the Dickens novel.
Creepy children.
Papa,
I say there, boy. What day is it?
Please, sir, I want some more.
Yeah.
Papa, come join us.
Back to the Packlids, where this is where Jody's now fixing the second problem, and Grebnik Nog, the Packlid captain, is like he's got this really disturbing smile. Well, first he's just staring off into space. He's not even looking at the monitor.
Well, he's bored.
And then Riker's like, it seems like you have a lot more repairs than a simple guidance system, you know? He goes,
yeah, and Riker's like pissed off about that too. He's like, you deceived us, and it's like, what?
yeah, he's the best, you know? Oh, the power comes back online.
We really like him. We like to touch his bum.
They do like to touch his bum.
These Packlets sure love the tickle game, Commander.
They have this thing called Chickle Circle.
Right. So Jordy's saying goodbye to his friends, especially the one grabbing his ass there in the back, and he's ready.
Oh yeah, he's still grabbing it.
You know, he's ready to beam out. It's been fun.
Your bum's a firm.
But just then, the Packlid captain picks up the phaser out of Jordy's holster. He goes, "Hey, don't do that!" And then he just shoots Jordy in the stomach.
So again, here's a weird thing, you know, on the security. You have your phasers just with no clips, nothing to release them. It just loose.
Just loose. Yeah, it seems not like a good Starfleet training thing.
You'd think they'd be like fingerprint or something. Like,
yeah. Or you need like a little like passcode. Like, you know, I can't even open my phone without a passcode, right? So you should have to be able to open a phaser with it. But
yeah, like what happens when the 4-year-old kid grabs it and starts running around the ship
and vaporizes something.
Phasers don't kill people. People kill people.
Oh.
There we go.
So the Federation is American then. Okay, we figured it out.
So Jody gets shot right in front of the entire crew of the Enterprise, including Riker here, you know, and then they pretty much they man him back, but they put shields up, and they're just laughing and having a good old time here before they discontinue communication. They're blocking everything, and
no, but this is when Riker again.
They left us red and they blocked us.
But he's like lack of control. He's yelling and screaming at them. Like, he just doesn't seem captain-like right now.
He's so crappy at it.
He turned down a promotion. He was going to get the captain of whatever, the other ship.
I think the Federation dodged a bullet on that one.
Don't worry. He won't get his own ship for like another 15 years, so he'll be well.
And by then he'll be smart enough.
Maybe he's on the Admiral fast track.
What the hell are you still doing, number one? Anyway, so they're trying to reestablish communication, but it's been blocked. So they can't talk to the Packlids right now, and Geordi's a hostage. Meanwhile, we go back to the shuttle. Would you like some coffee, Ensign? What Picard offers to us.
Yeah, the only time you ever see, I think, Picard drink coffee, don't you?
Not the only time, but it's rare. It's like
yeah.
He's more of a breakfast coffee guy, I think, and then he's tea for the rest of the day, perhaps. Riker's problem is he didn't have a plan B and C. Real captains have multiple backups, says Mike. Thanks, Mike. Yeah.
Well, just like they would have had 2 people on the away team, or maybe listen to his chief security officer.
Yeah,
like there's got to be some red shirts around there somewhere. You can
because if they you know, would they have shot Sonia Gomez? I don't know. You know, so who's to say? Anyway, would you like a sandwich, everybody?
How about a sandwich?
I love that they're the little funeral sandwiches. The crust are
with the crust cut off. Yeah, and like I don't know. It's interesting to watch Picard eat this sandwich.
And I like how Wesley takes like one half, and there's like a pile of them there, and he's like, you know, have a sandwich. He takes like one half of one.
Yeah, Wesley asks Picard, "Were you always this disciplined your whole life?" He goes, "Nope, I was an undisciplined, opinionated, loudmouth, whatever, you know."
Basically, me. Yeah.
He was like Jody.
He was like me. Yeah.
I was an undisciplined, loudmouthed, opinionated young man who was way out of his league.
Everything but the young part.
Yeah. So he tells the story about the Nausicaans, which I have the whole story here, if you want to hear it. Yeah.
Several friends and I were on leave at Farspace Starbase Earhart. Well, my mates and I were at the Bonsdale Recreation Facility. filled with an
Recreation.
assorted bunch of galactic riffraff, when a trio of Nausicans came in. I stood toe-to-toe with the worst of the three. And I told him what I thought of him, his pals, his planet, and I possibly made some passing reference to his questionable parentage. And the next thing I knew, all three of them were on me, and I was fighting for my life. I was actually doing quite well for a while, too. I had this one Nausicaan down in this somewhat devious joint lock when, unbeknownst to me, one of his chums drew his weapon and impaled me through the back. Curious sensation, actually. Not much pain. Shock, certainly, at the sight of serrated metal sticking through my chest. A certain giddy warmth. In fact, I do actually remember that I laughed out loud. Well, it pierced my heart, of course. In fact, if we'd not been so near to a medical facility, I would surely have died.
And then what happened? Nothing. You know? Like,
And now we're done.
right.
So all we learned is that really Picard is kind of a speciesist. He made
Why?
fun of like somebody's planet and heritage and race.
Oh. Well, he didn't like them.
Those
They were
darn Nausicaans,
the Nausicans, and
which we
well,
see later.
these
see later.
Nausicans were looking for a fight, as he tells us the story here. And we don't know what a Nausicaan is at this point. We've never seen one in the show.
And we don't see one until later on.
What I also find fascinating about this story is that you can really visualize it, which is why I think it comes back later in Tapestry, and we get to see it kind of played out.
Yeah.
Because like even this little detail of like I laughed out loud, you know, and whatever else. It's an interesting detail to put in this story. While he's just reciting it, you know, and then to actually see it later on was really fun, you know. So I don't know. I always enjoyed this.
This episode definitely influenced a lot of other things later on.
Yeah, for sure. And gives us more kind of perspective into who Picard is, I think, you know, and how he got to be who he is. You know, and now he's not insulting people's things. He just offers us sandwiches.
Go for another sandwich.
Yeah, he's just got a sandwich for you. It's all good.
He should have said, "Do you care for another half of a sandwich?"
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to eat that one, and then if you can finish that whole thing, you can have another one, Jody. That's how it goes.
So basically, Picard's treating him like a 5-year-old.
Yeah, Picard doesn't really spend much time around 5-year-olds. He doesn't know the difference between a 5-year-old and an 18-year-old.
They have Captain Picard Day. I'm pretty sure.
Not yet.
I'm pretty sure. That's true. That doesn't happen until later.
Anyway, so back to the Enterprise and the Mondor. They're trying to figure out how to reestablish things. Data's detecting that they have way more systems and powers than they thought, and that the damage to their power system and their guidance system was faked, that it was all a ruse. Jody wakes up over on the Packlet ships. They're pointing the phaser right at him, and they say, "We want you to help us, you know, be strong, make weapons for us." And he's like, "I didn't come here to make weapons." Well, you help us or you die, basically, is what the Packlets say. They've turned quite sinister. So Geordi's got a phaser to the head, if you will. Then back on the Enterprise, Worf and Riker are talking about their options. Like they could just attack the Packlets. Their ship is way more powerful than their ship, but they don't want to, you know, jeopardize Geordi's life and his safety. So they got a situation here. And you know, and I think Counselor Troy says, you know, Geordi's. No, this is where she says the Packlets have what they want for now. They have Geordi, so like, but they're gonna want more. Back to the shuttle. Wesley says, "We're approaching the starbase," and this is where Picard goes, "Good. Hey, did you read that book I gave you?" He goes, some of it, but you know, not all of it." He's, you know, and Picard's like, "Come on, philosophy."
No greater challenge than the study of philosophy.
Right, you know, anyone can learn how to pilot a ship, Wesley.
Anyone can be trained in the mechanics of piloting a starship. Open your mind to the past, art, history, philosophy. And all this may mean something.
Yeah.
Wait, I figured it out. The Packlets are the great grandchildren of the family from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, you might be onto something there.
Maybe onto something. They're like the Goalers from Nova Scotia. Anyway, back to the Packleds. But what do you guys think? Oh, before that, what did you think of Picard's little speech here to Wesley? I thought it was.
I think that he was a little bit demeaning because, like, Wesley's
any monkey can fly the shuttlecraft.
Well, no, he's talking about a ship.
Yeah,
and he's like considered a prodigy, and he's saying, you're not nothing until you really study philosophy,
right?
The classics.
Yeah, he's all about the classics. The science of it all, and the engineering. That's whatever. But
if they hadn't achieved the type of utopian society that they have, it would be a very classist argument that he's making right there.
Mm-hmm.
True.
But in a utopian society with no economics, like, wouldn't the
classism isn't an issue anymore?
And I guess the pursuit of like the arts and like those kinds of philosophical disciplines would be more valued, perhaps, than it. Because a lot of people in our society, you go and say, "I got a history degree," and go, "What's that good for? Who cares?" Right? So, what job does that get you? But in this time, that's less relevant, right? You could just have the knowledge for knowledge's sake. Just to help.
But he does qualify it by going, if you know this stuff, you become a better officer. You become a better.
Right. I think he knows you need all of it to be well rounded. I think is also his message.
I think he also says it to Riker a lot too. Get some education.
Yeah. Can you read a book, Riker? Come on. Anyway, I never seen 4 Packlets on the same show.
And Mike also mentioned that he really liked your Picard screenshot
of this one.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
It says it looks like Picard's bondage video.
Okay. Well, I'm glad to.
So now I'm a little bit concerned about Mike. So Mike is now on the chat watch list.
On the watch list.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna go with Picard's bondage videos, likely it was with Beverly, and Jack was probably filming, so that might be awkward with Wesley there.
It was with Gull Massette or whatever.
How dare you bring such a poor, tasteful joke
with the 4 lights
on this?
I'm sorry about your delicate.
This podcast
Jody.
with me. Yes, I have very delicate sensibility.
I know that you are a very special flower, and I'm very sorry.
I am.
He's a very special flower. Yeah.
We go back. So we eventually
Speaking
end
of
up at
special flower. All right.
We eventually end up at the Starbase, which is a matte painting that we get to see a lot in this episode.
What? This is a painting?
This is a painting.
You built
Jody.
this? Oh.
I believe it was previously used for an alien world in another.
I think
episode.
it was. Yeah, it looks very familiar.
I think the episode where was it Angel 1 maybe?
That sculpture or whatever it is in the middle there, isn't that like that looks like something in London or something? Like, I can't remember. Can't place it, but it looks like something out there, somewhere in the world right now.
It looks like a sports trophy.
Yeah, well, we never get a great look at it. Although they do give us a bit of a zoom in here as we arrive.
Yeah, because they want you to know that you're actually in that building.
I guess so. Anyway, and it's interesting too because this is on planets. There are no automatic doors. You actually got to open it with your hand. Like
funny enough, Mike just mentioned that.
A manual door. Like there's also there's a look here that Picard gives to Wesley when he uses it. He's like, "Isn't this fun? A door we have to pull open." Anyway, so then, what's the track we were saying? I wonder how this episode would have gone if Tasha was still alive and her and Worf were both security.
Well, Tasha was competent at security.
Was she?
Mostly. Well, she would at least jump in.
She might.
Worf would only jump in after 5 people have been gabbed.
Here at the Starbase, we see that Wesley's kind of following Picard, because he's like, I got time for my exams, and we find out, at Picard's prompting, he's like, "Are you following me, Wesley?" He's like, "Yeah, Dr. Pulaski promised or made me promise I would make sure you went into the hospital or whatever to get the surgery."
Oh, did he know then? Was he just acting when Picard told him he was going for the procedure, or?
I think he knew Picard was going for a surgery or something like that, but not specifically what it was, not that it was for the heart, so Pulaski told him as much as she needed to, which wasn't too much other than she needed him to go. Why is the starbase? Well, that's a good question. So wait, so Mike's asking, why is this called a starbase if it's on a planet? But what seems to be the case in Star Trek is sometimes starbases are planets and sometimes they're space stations. There's not really necessarily
Starbase is basically just outpost. That's the word.
Yeah, starbase is kind of, it could be any kind of, it could be a space outpost or it could not be.
But the majority of them are space stations. Like they're not planets.
Well,
so he is right.
Maybe I don't know what the stats are on that, but yeah, we've seen both versions.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Picard's annoyed that Pulaski put Wesley up to this. He goes that one, but then Wesley, after that moment passes, he says, "I really enjoyed our trip out here, Picard, or Captain." And he goes, "Me too, Wesley. It was fun. It was good bonding for us." Okay, well, peace and.
I enjoyed sandwiches and coffee.
Yeah, anytime you want a sandwich and coffee, I'm here. All right. So they break, and Wesley goes off to his exams. Picard goes off to his surgery. Back on the Enterprise with the Mondor. They finally, I guess, get a communication back here with the Packlets. They start the dialogue. We see that Geordi's still alive, and they're like, "We demand you return our crew member. We demand it, but the request is denied."
Request denied.
And they shoot Geordi again. See what we could do? This pisses off Riker. "You stop it! Don't hurt my Geordi!" But they want
terrible in this episode.
We want everything from your computers.
So can you go back when he was shot, please?
Yep.
That was the funniest scene. I don't know if you guys noticed it, but when he was hit with the phaser beam, he
jumps,
basically lunged himself backwards.
He lunged himself back.
Yeah.
He does so much physical physical work in
him and Worf both do it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like rolling under doors. Yes.
Him and Worf fly over tables all the time, but yeah.
The one where he was getting thrown around inside the turbo lift.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he was like, "I really want to be a stuntman." If Reading Rainbow doesn't turn out, something big here. So yeah, Geordi gets shot here. The stakes are feeling. The Packlets are so damn cocky and smug, and they want things, and they got Riker right where they want them. And they're just pointing more phasers here at Geordi because they made Geordi replicate more of these phasers, so they have a whole bunch of them. So they're trying to figure out what to do. They're not sure what to do. They then have a conference. Riker calls a conference, calling it Pulaski. What do we do? We know that Geordi's been shot multiple times by phaser fire. He might need medical attention.
No, I'm sure he's fine. He just took a laser into the gut. Yeah, no, he's fine.
Data goes, our options haven't changed. We can try to take him back, or we cannot. We can do something or not do it. Eventually Riker comes up with this idea of well, what if we have a ruse? What if we try to get Geordi to help us trick them somehow?
Well, Worf said he was ready to bring a group over, didn't he?
Yeah, they could try to storm the ship or something.
Yeah.
But anything could get Geordi killed. He's a hostage, and that's the risk you're going to take in that situation. So that's the plan. They're going to try to trick the Packlets because they don't know what else to do. Then back on the starbase, we see Picard's new artificial heart being in this big jar of barbicide.
That's a big fucking heart.
No kidding,
no way that's the right size.
Is it meant to be bigger because it's in liquid, and is that what's making it look so huge?
I just it's giant.
It looks pretty.
I think they had to make it that big so that way it would be screen appropriate and they could actually see it, right? But
perhaps
still, it's yeah, this is like a horse heart. It's huge.
That's what Picard needs. So Picard's in his scrubs. He's on the surgical bay. We meet this the surgeon guy who's like, "We'll have you home by dinner, Picard," or whatever.
Okay, well, there it is. There's the first sign that something bad's going to happen.
You never say that.
Yeah, we see this the futuristic calipers and scrubs here. I think it's interesting that everything is around them is covered in this red thing except for their faces, which is where a lot of germs come from. Or get exposed to.
Why does the skylight look like it has condensation?
Does it?
Oh, go back to the scene with Riker.
What, this one?
On the bridge. There, go that one.
Oh, it's the stars.
It's supposed to be the stars, I think, but you're right though. It's way too clustered. Especially
anyways.
considering all the external shots don't show that many stars. So he's right. It does look like condensation.
Look, guys,
Anyway.
look at all this futuristic medical equipment we have here with like analog numbers and.
If you dial enough numbers and then hit 88 miles per hour, you'll see some serious shit.
Yeah,
They're
well,
putting a flux capacitor in them.
wait until I point you what I caught on the Packlet ship later on. Anyway, so
Now I'm
they're
intrigued.
now they're getting Picard all ready up. They got the starting the surgery on here. So then we break back to Riker and his conference. This is just more about them talking about the ruse and what they're going to do. I don't think there's anything too important here. And so back to the surgery where
They
they
got a couple light brights. That's great.
They got a couple light brights. Now this is where they're like the surgery with Picard's not going great. So they're but we're kind of back and forth between the two pretty rapidly. Back to the
Yeah, it does
Enterprise
definitely
here.
jump back and forth quickly. Yeah.
This is where Jody says, "Hey, let me talk to them." He's still grabbing his ribs because he's been hurt from the phaser fire. I heard that heart prop was from RoboCop. Oh, really? Could be. It's like
Maybe in Fun Facts we'll find that out.
yeah, maybe. We need their computer things, says the Packlet. So they call over and say, we need things from them. We are nothing,
We want what we want.
They're nothing if not persistent.
We want to be nothing if not persistent.
So this is where they're talking to Jody.
It's a great line.
Yeah, we want to be nothing if not persistent. And they say, well, Jody, we're gonna have to let you go, man. Like, you're the best at weapons technologies. We're gonna miss, like, every time we're talking about building photon torpedoes and phasers, you won't be there. And Jordy's like, what? I don't know about that stuff. That's Worf. And they're like, shut up. You are the best at weapons, aren't you? He goes, I guess. Whatever you say.
I want to toot my own horn, but that Worf is an idiot compared to me.
I do okay.
Yeah.
So this is part of their trick to trick the
The
Packlets
ladies in the holodeck love me.
Yeah. They're trying to trick the Packlets into thinking Geordi knows all about weapons, and it works. Worf says, but do not give any secrets away. You will die.
You will die without honor.
Yeah, never get to the 24th level of awareness.
You will never attain the 24th level of awareness, the gateway to heroic salvation.
Nope, not going. Thanks a lot, Worf, Geordi says. Anyway, so we'll see you later, Geordi. Nice knowing you. And then they go, do you think he got the message? He better. We have to hope he understands what to do, which I guess, and the plan here was to arm the Packlets and then take that away at the last minute. So they say, you know about weapons. You make us strong. Make us, whatever. I thought you wanted me to help you go, right? But they don't want to just go. They want to destroy things, these Packlets.
Meanwhile, at the MVP trophy.
At the MVP trophy or whatever it is, 3D printed trophy. Picard is not doing well. There's a bit of sweat on his brow here. This surgeon is not having a good day. He's not able to get the whatever going. They're trying to do the whatever. Clear or
3 lasers, dude.
3 lasers.
Gotta have 3 lasers. You can't have 1. 1 looks silly. And 2 just seems out of place. But when you have 3, you're good to go.
And he goes, we need a biomolecular specialist here now. This man is dying. What is a biomolecular specialist?
It's the technobabble they do.
Okay. Worf didn't join an improv class while at Starfleet. Nope.
Nope, no, he didn't.
So Picard's dying on the operating table, but back here they're trying to get Geordi back. Geordi is they're saying, here's our weapon systems, and he's like, there's not enough antimatter here to do anything. We need to be strong. Make us strong. He's like, well, I guess I can increase the load or something. I'm confused on, even with Geordi's amazing engineering abilities, if he would actually be able to make the Packlet ship a threat to the Enterprise. Like, you can only upgrade it so much.
Yeah.
Right. But they wanted.
But he is Geordi.
Yeah. Don't try to trick us. We will know if you're not giving us what we need here. So he starts building their weapons. Picard is dying here, back in the operating room. He's, they've got their biomolecular specialist, but
there's only one person I know.
There's only one person we know, who can save this man, and I just happen to know her. Says this guy, this biomolecular specialist played by Zima, which is Pulaski. We'll find out. Back on the Enterprise, Riker and Data are talking to Sonia Gomez about how they're going to use the Crimson Force Field, I guess, and that's or whatever their plan is here. So they need her to get that ready, to get Jody, on the go here. But then Worf calls and says, the Starbase called and Picard's dying. We need to get Pulaski their stat. Uh-oh. We got no more time to fool around with these Packlets. We need to get going. Da-da-da. Okay, this is the part I was talking about. So back on the Packlet ship, Jody is getting the weapons ready. But if you can see here, this is clearly just some sound equipment. It says phone, microphone, phone.
It's literally it's literally a switchboard. Yeah.
It's like a soundboard.
Yeah, it's a soundboard
that they've plugged into their antimatter technologies, and it's in English. Who would have thought the Packlets would have had such things?
Well, the Packlets do acquire technology.
They do, so I guess it's possible they would.
Personally,
have
I think the Packlets are an offset of the board.
I actually have something on this on Fun Facts. So
okay,
good.
Well, come into it, but Geordi has them armed to the teeth. They are strong and they are very happy. They have photon torpedoes. I love the smiles. The smiles on these two guys and the grins are hilarious. You always forget they're bad guys for a second.
We have orgy.
Yeah, we have orgy. Anyway,
orgy.
So they call over. Riker's like, I'm out of time with you guys. Get those Packlets on the screen right now, and I guess they're able to block the transmission.
Well, he's trying to decode the 1980s porn channel.
Yeah, this is how I used to watch porn when I was a kid. You could only really listen. I
saw a boob.
You could really only listen to it, or whatever. The audio wasn't scrambled. Anyway. But Data knows how to get through those hacks, and he's got the Grebnet log here on the screen. Anyway, so then we return our chief engineer. No, request denied. So he's like, okay, well, then I'm going to destroy you. And Jordy's like, they're going to kill me. They're going to destroy me. Well, not so fast. And he goes, good. He's on our side now. We're gonna show them off. Okay, Sonia Gomez, do your thing down there in engineering. And Jody goes, wait one second. Don't fire yet. And he seems like he's getting it to make it stronger. But what Jody's doing is disarming all the weapons. And they fire the Crimson Force Field, which is this red mist that comes out of the Broussard collectors.
Just hydrogen gas or something?
I don't know.
I'd
get the Enterprise. I would get the Enterprise checked, man. That could be a UTI.
Perhaps. No! So they fire it, but oh no! They've used their Crimson Force Field.
They used their Crimson Force Field!
They are smart.
They are
Not
smart.
the Crimson Force Field.
Damn it! Once again, thwarted by the Crimson Force Field. So Riker's like, we got you. You don't have any weapons. But they still have Geordi as a hostage. This is the part. This doesn't really change things, but they just give up. They decide to let Geordi go after this point. And he beams back. And glad to be here.
We're done shooting him in the gut.
He's like, what happened? You got the photons disabled at the last second? He's like, yep. Well, you're still here, aren't you? Implying that the Packlet ship could have destroyed the Enterprise if he had.
Well, you got to remember they acquired technology from other races, so they might have the Klingon torpedoes, which are pretty good.
Even if they did, it's such a small little puny ship that doesn't even have warp drive.
But you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, Dave.
I guess not. Anyway, so back to the matte painting, the MVP trophy, and the surgery is going on. The surgery's over, everyone. As the Packlet's defeated by trans pride flag. Why? It wasn't rainbow.
Yeah, it's colors.
Anyway, so
in the pink.
Okay. Anyway, so Picard wakes up from his surgery, and guess who it is? Pulaski, to give him this smug smile.
He's like, this is the worst.
What the hell are you still doing here?
What are you doing here, woman? She's like, saving your life.
I didn't want a woman saving me.
Don't you like me in this red surgical gown? Don't I look good? You look great in your red little Scully there.
It was funny because I was watching this episode and the one kid that doesn't watch the Star Trek is like, he's like, are these guys all aliens? What the hell's going on with their heads? I'm like, no, it's just the outfit.
This is how we stay sterile in the future with these hats.
You know, the big germ thing, this part here.
Don't forget about
your
mouth.
at all.
Your mouth and your nose and your eyes don't have any problems. Anyway, but we gotta see the face. Anyway, it's a lot of hospital shows for that matter. So the episode's now over. Picard comes back, and they all give him a standing ovation, which he does not like.
I beg your
Well,
pardon.
if you notice, it's only 3 of them that do that. Worf is like, I'm not giving him a standing ovation, and Data just looks over. He doesn't bother.
Did he walk through a river of pain sticks? I don't think so. So
yeah, exactly. He's not. He's like, come on.
There was no honor anyway. So Picard then tells us Wesley did so well on his entrance exams that he'll be able to continue studying here on the Enterprise. He doesn't have to go to the Academy. Isn't that nice?
Yeah. What if that was Crusher rather than Pulaski?
I would have liked that better. If they had to call her in.
But just knowing Picard, would he have been more okay with Crusher than Pulaski?
Well, and this is near the end of the season too, right? Like we're only 5 episodes away from the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they could have even used Crusher for like a one episode thing, and that would kind of ease her back in again.
Well, they didn't know she was. They didn't know she was coming back until they didn't make that decision until between seasons, right?
Okay.
So that as far as they knew, like Pulaski was going to continue on the show at this point, right? So, anyway, Picard says, "Set course for that Epsilon pulsar. I was so excited to see. I guess I will get to see it now." And that is the end of the episode. As the Enterprise goes on its way. But I need to know more. I need knowledge. I need to be smart. We are smart. Fun facts with Adam.
Fun facts with Adam.
Fun facts with Adam.
There we go.
Let's go. Okay, so Will Wheaton and Patrick Stewart came up with a gag where Wesley Crusher encounters the non-automatic door for the first time. When they approach the door, which Wesley stares at, Picard looks at Wesley thinking, "Oh, kids," and opens it for him. You guys caught that. That was apparently Wesley's first time dealing with a non-automatic door.
Oh, well, I felt like they both had never seen it before, based on what I'd seen. But I guess that makes sense.
That is cute, though.
Picard's anecdote about being stabbed through the heart becomes the basis of Tapestry later on in 1993. Many details established here, including the fact that he reacted by laughing out loud, were preserved in the later depiction. The Packlet ship is said to contain technology acquired from the Jurata, the unseen insectoid race from contacted in The Big Goodbye.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, wouldn't have put that together.
The original plan was for the captain's yacht to be used to transport Captain Picard to Starbase 515 for the immediate heart surgery, but producers decided to nix the idea due to budgetary constraints and go with the traditional shuttlecraft instead. Ironically, the captain's yacht for the Enterprise D is never used or shown throughout the entire next generation.
Not shown or used on screen, yeah.
But it's supposed to be that little cutout at the bottom of the saucer section.
On the E, it came out in the same spot. So on the E, we got to see the captain's yacht.
Insurrection, we saw it. But I was always disappointed. Oh, there's one of my... See, this is the cat. The cat.
Mm-hmm. Siamese?
Something like... Yes. Deaf.
Deaf.
I don't want to judge her, but she's judgeable.
Loud as a whisper.
All right.
She's really cleaning up right now.
So, one of the props used inside the Packlet ship is actually the Kank 2349 or 429 remote control unit from the World War II military field radios. So
okay. So
it showed, I think they...
Yeah, you caught that. This is the second of Licia Naff's 2 appearances as Ensign Gomez. She later voices, as you guys said, the character in the first Contact in Lower Decks.
By that point, she's a captain. So she went from ensign to captain in like 10 years. Or maybe.
So Mike says he always thought the Battle Bridge was the captain's yacht, which it is not.
No.
So.
Okay, so the surface of Starbase 515's planet is the reused matte painting from Angel 1.
Oh, it is Angel 1. There you go. Did you already know that?
Who?
You.
Me? I didn't.
I knew that
Oh, you were the one that knew that. Okay. Somebody mentioned it earlier. I didn't know who it was.
because I'm smart,
You are smart.
He's smart.
He is smart.
The Packwood names Grebelnog, Grebnolog, and Reginald
Yeah.
are Goldenberg and Doniger written backwards.
No,
What,
that's
in
pretty
reference to what? What's that?
I
mean?
don't know.
I'm guessing producers or
Maybe.
not producers, but key staff members.
Yep. Captain Picard briefly lectures Wesley on the philosopher William James. William's brother, Henry James, is the author of The Turn of the Screw, a Victorian ghost story, which was provided as a central metaphor for a few Star Trek productions, most notably everybody's favorite.
Oh, Sub Rosa, fuck off.
You got it.
Oh, I hate that.
Dave loves it.
It's a great episode. Maybe it's a perfect 10, if not an 11.
Candle sex.
Beverly.
And not even the good kind.
Oh, it's good.
There's like, you know what? I'm not gonna ask.
It's got Canada's own Duncan Regeer from Zorro.
Captain Picard tells Wesley Crusher that he should read more history. He also, here it is, he tells Commander Riker the same thing next time in the long ladder, up the long ladder.
Oh, he says that to Riker in the very next episode. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And the final scene where Captain Picard states, "Any rumors of my brush with death are greatly exaggerated." He's paraphrasing a quote attributed to Mark Twain that goes, "The rumors of my death are greatly exaggerated." A few years later in Time Zero Part 2, used Mark Twain as a focus.
Any rumors of my brush with death are greatly exaggerated. Is that clear?
Is that clear? There's a couple of goofs in this episode that are called out, and I'll go through those if you don't mind.
The shuttle.
Yeah, well, we know this one. I won't even mention that. You guys mentioned that many times. Apparently, when Captain Picard begins the surgery, they start incising the abdomen, not the chest, if you actually look where the laser is going. Commander Data has commanded the ship numerous times. He would know that the person in charge has an obligation to ship over the captain. So why is he expressing concern about going to the ship in distress? It would be far away from where the captain would be. It makes no logical sense. So you always handle the ship or the distress before the captain. Mm-hmm. Let's just leave it there, guys. When Riker demands the Packwood ship to go, Captain to release Jody, the Packwood responds with "request denied" and shoots Jody with a phaser. But Jody's arms fly outward and he's yanked backwards, even before the Packwood shoots him. I think they were a little slow on the CGI that they added with the laser or the phaser. Pardon me.
Don't they seem a little slow? All right. Well, thank you, Adam. Thank you for those fun facts. And that transitions us.
There's one other thing that's interesting, too, because in any first contact, which this was the first time they covered, right? It was the first contact. Troy should have been on the bridge.
Well, is it a first contact? Because Data says we kind of know a little bit about them, but not much, right? Like we know they're a benign species, but maybe they've never met them. I don't know. So Sub Rosa does not suck, Jody.
It does suck.
It's a masterpiece.
Look, it says right down there it sucks.
Well, that must prove everything. Okay.
When we get to that episode, that'll be a fun one to talk about because there's all kinds of.
It will be a couple years from now, but we will
It'll
review
be a
it.
while. Yeah.
It'll be a while. It's the last season, but I'm looking forward to it right now.
Look at the Trek reviewer. Jody, put that up before you get there.
What's that?
What he
put
said.
the comment. The Trek reviewer. Sub Rosa is the second worst episode of the Next Generation. Only to
I disagree. I actually like Cone of Honor more than Sub Rosa.
Well, I'm not saying Code of Honor is a great episode, but
But you are saying Sub Rosa is a good.
It's better than the medical officer bangs the candle.
You know what? We need that.
On.
We need an episode like that, Jody. That's what's needed in Star Trek: The Next Generation. Beverly, she needs romance too. Okay, so let's get into our ratings here, everybody.
The candle.
for the candle. Now, you're not rating Sub Rosa, Jody. You're rating Samaritan Snare. So what do you want to give this one?
I'm gonna give it a. I'll give it a 7.5.
Okay, Adam.
There's a lot of stupid things in it, but it's alright.
Yeah, there's more stupid things in it. The Packwoods are funny. A 6.5.
Okay, Justin.
Wow.
I'm gonna give it a 7.
A 7 from Justin, and I'm going 8 for this. I think.
Oh, thank God! I didn't want to be the highest one on this episode.
Yeah, I think this is pretty strong overall. Even though I think the Packwoods are a fun antagonist. I wish they had used them a little bit more actually before Lower Decks. But
I don't know. They're not very it's not a deep character. There's not much you can really do with them.
Oh, there's so much.
Oh, there's a lot you can do with them.
We saw the Lower Decks did a ton with them, right?
Sure. It's only 20 minutes long.
Yeah, it helps things.
You think we are not smart? We are smart.
That's right.
They're smart.
Anyway, so we're averaging 7.3 tonight because we're all a little over. This has a 6.5 on IMDb, so in line with what Adam thinks. A little bit of a drop off since Q Who, but that's to be expected. And so that's our score for this episode. And now, our next episode coming up next Thursday is called Up the Long Ladder, where Commander Riker is told to read more history. This is not Sub Rosa. Now, next week I will be on another podcast Thursday night, so I will not be here for this one.
I see how it is. I see how it is, Dave.
That's how
we're not good enough for you.
I'm just taking a week off, so we have a Jaemeel Robinson will be hosting next week for Up the Long Ladder, and Heather, Jody, and Davin will be the panelists. So look out for that.
It is going to be a shit show, and it's going to be 3 hours long.
Another episode of racism.
Just Irish racism.
Funny enough, still better than Sub Rosa.
Wait, was Sub Rosa not stereotypical towards Scottish people? Did I light that candle? I don't know. We should poll Scottish
I don't know
people.
a single Scottish person who has had sex with a candle. So
you're not talking to Scottish people because trust me, some have. I'm half Scottish, roughly, half Irish. So I'm all good with Up the Long Ladder and Sub Rosa for any cultural.
It's such a terrible episode. The only thing I like about that episode is the daughter.
I like that episode a lot. I think it's better than this one we just watched.
The daughter's great. She just gives everybody hell all the time. It's fantastic.
Up the Long Ladder, yeah, it's okay, but it's we'll be talking about it next week, but I won't be here. But I'll try to leave some thoughts. Our other male guest star in the next episode read for Picard. Oh, is that the Irish? Is that the Irish guy or the clone guy? I wonder, because there was a few different
I don't know
finalists there for Picard.
I bet you will know that in fun facts.
Was it James Little Jones who also read for Picard? Like that would have been a really different reality where he was playing Picard. Half Irish, half
Vader as Picard. I don't know.
I'm skittish. So what else? And then on Monday we'll be doing our next review of For All Mankind. We're up to season 1, episode 8. The title Rupture.
Such a good show.
Yeah,
it is a very good show.
Really enjoying that and our Monday night podcast with that. So tune in for that every week. And on this past Sunday, we just had our science division doing a Class L probe. It was Adam, Dave, and Davin, the locutors of Trek, going through a whole bunch of different topics. Like
lots of probing.
That's how it goes sometimes, right? We don't know anything about them.
I'm not sure if they had the candles.
We are being probed.
Yeah.
Did you have the candles, Adam, or no?
No candles.
No candles.
No
okay,
candles. So when is the slider? We'll do sliders one day. I could see us doing sliders one day.
Oh, that was a fun show.
I like sliders.
Oh.
Sliders.
Okay, I'm telling you right now, if we do it, Justin is totally doing the intro for it.
Yeah.
Sliders. I'm actually watching it right now on Peacock. It does not hold up, and I love it.
That's the exact reason why I'd rewatch it.
It didn't hold up at the time.
It did barely held up then.
It's so bad.
How many seasons did that do?
5.
I think it was 5. Yeah.
It's
It gets
incredible.
way off the rails after like
Dude,
the middle
I
of
am
the second
adding that
season.
to my Jellyfin server right
The
now.
when they were still in Vancouver, when the first 2 seasons in Vancouver, and when they still had John Rice Davies, that's when the show was good, and then it slowly loses its way.
I didn't know
Once
there was
they
5
replace literally almost the entire main cast except for Rembrandt.
Right, he's like the leader at the end, and you're like, this guy
Yeah.
was kind of thrown into it. But
I'm totally getting Sliders.
I would be totally down for a Sliders reboot or something like that. I feel like that show really
That'd be a good reboot. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like that could be something new, and they could do it better this time. Anyway,
another comment on Picard. People who read from Kyle Riker, the guy who played Kyle Riker, according to Trek Review.
yeah, that came up in our fun facts when we did the Icarus Factor. Yeah, I'm glad they ended it with Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, I didn't like that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
He
okay,
was a good one episode person. But that was it.
thanks. Check out on our Trivial Debates channel on Sunday. I'll be hosting a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles themed episode. Justin, you're competing, right?
I am definitely cowabungaing my way through that one.
By the way, the right answer is Donatello.
Right. Yeah,
I will keep that in mind.
I'm looking forward to that. We'll be doing that Sunday afternoon on Trivial Debates, and I think that's all the plugs I have right now. I don't know if I'm missing anything. Let me know. But those are the
Adam's cat's gonna have a podcast soon.
Nice.
Yeah,
It'll be
That
fun.
was like my speed of podcasts, to be honest with you.
Well, on that note, we'll say goodnight for tonight. And well, I won't see you here on next Thursday, but Jody will. So that would be great.
What will I do?
Yeah, you'll be here next week.
Oh, okay.
But I won't. So you'll keep it going.
Okay.
You and Jaemeel.
Oh yes,
And-
that's right.
And others.
I think I have to do fun facts now.
You have
'Cause
to-
Adam's not on that one.
Yeah, you won't be there, so you'll be on deck for that.
I'm
So-
gonna have to impersonate Adam and be as awesome as him, and that's gonna be
Put me
hard.
on as the backup if you lose anybody, though. I'll be around.
Well, thanks everyone. Thanks Justin. Thanks Adam. Thanks Jody. We'll see you next time here on Live Long and Podcast. You have a great night.
We look for things we need, things that make us go.
Beam up some Star Trek content with Live Long and Podcast. Tune in to X-Rated, the X-Men animated review show. Artistic interviews with graphic histories. A roundtable movie discussion with Hey, did you see this one? And movie reviews with Hold Up, a movie podcast. And while you're at it, spin a few records with Eamon on Track. Watch us duke it out on Trivial Debates. And let's chat about TV with the Super Mater Brothers. It's all here on the United Federation of Podcasts.